Welcome to Table Talk, where there's always room at the table. I am your host, Jonathan Harmon of the J Harmon Home Team, and we can't wait to talk to these fine guests. Enjoy the show. Now we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
Hey, good afternoon, Trent. How you doing?
Super duper. How are you, sir?
Fantastic. You've had a busy day today, huh?
It has been a busy day. Busy, but good.
That's
to be
good.
back.
I see production assistant Cammie over there is worn out.
Yep.
She is taking a nap.
She's like, I'm ready to go home.
You know, Lauren, don't you wish you could curl up like a dog like that?
Absolutely.
Like I'm looking at that. Like she's not a tiny dog, but my goodness,
She looks real snug.
very snug. I
Very
wish you guys could see her because she's pretty darn adorable. So welcome to Table Talk. We've got an awesome guest, Miss Lauren Dickson. How's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
From the tiny little town of Parsons, Tennessee.
Yes.
I didn't know where Parsons was.
Oh, it's just right down the road.
It's a suburb of what?
Well, we used to have one red light, but now we have two.
Whoa.
Yeah, we have two red lights.
Look out. Did people run the second one when they put it up?
Oh, for sure. Maybe I
Just to
have
test the water.
once or twice.
exactly. That's awesome. So we're going to talk about that. Before we get started with that, though, we need to say hello to our friend, Mr. Bryan Nale with Dun Dun Dun. We're just going to go with that.
Yeah, right.
So, Bryan, thank you for supporting Spread the Positive, and let's roll it.
Oh, we can't? I mean,
We
can't.
can? We
No.
can't? No, we can't.
We can't.
Hey, so let's just do it this way. Bryan Nale is the best mortgage lender in Rutherford County, and
Yep.
if you disagree, I'll fight you.
And it
How
doesn't
about that?
matter where he is. You
It
follow
doesn't matter.
him.
It doesn't matter because it comes
It's like
down.
Sister Act, where you should follow him.
That's it. It comes down to the loan officer.
I'm sorry for that one.
So anyway,
Follow
Bryan,
him.
we love you, and as soon as humanly possible, we're gonna help you make that announcement because there's big things happening.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we love our Bryan Nale. If you need anything mortgage related, you need to give him a shout and thank him for helping spread the positive
Yeah. Thank you, Brian.
and for supporting this show in particular. Where Lauren, like I was telling you, we like to talk about stuff that some people just don't like to talk about, and we can still be friends afterwards.
Absolutely.
Right? That's it.
Yes.
So, all right. So let's get rolling with this. Lauren, you are Miss Tennessee.
I am.
Hey.
Thank you, studio audience.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. And we were talking a little bit before this. You kind of took a different path than a lot of other Miss Tennessees and various other states. You didn't get into this business until what?
21 years of age.
Like, that's weird, right?
It is weird.
Yeah.
It is definitely weird.
Yeah. So you didn't fit all the TV shows that come on whatever cable channel and all
No.
that.
I was not a toddler in tiara. Not at all.
So why? What at 21 years old did you say, I think I'm going to do that?
Yeah. So I've grown up watching Miss Tennessee, Miss America, Miss
Mhm.
USA, any and everything in that realm, and idolized the women that I would see on the stage and competing. They were beautiful. They were graceful. They were so poised, and there was something about them that just drew you in. And they seemed to have it all together. And of course, I'm not sure of a young girl that could watch those things and not dream of being them in some type of way. Maybe
Mhm.
not taking that avenue, but just being some part of them. And when I was 21, the opportunity presented itself and the door was wide open, and someone said, okay, you dream about this, you go watch Miss Tennessee every single year, you can sing, you can speak. Why do you not do this?
What are you doing?
What are you
Yeah.
doing? And you need some scholarships for
Yeah.
college.
I mean, let's be practical here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Miss America is the leading scholarship provider for young women across America. And I'll just say it, but this past summer alone, I was awarded $19,000 in scholarships.
Wow.
And through my time within the organization, over $45,000 in scholarships. And I am debt free from college. Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
That's another round of applause. Nice.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Yes. But ultimately, I've been serving and volunteering in some type of way for just about anything under the sun since I was a little girl. I grew up as an only child. So any and anytime I could get my hands on anything, that's what me and my parents were doing, volunteering,
Mhm.
serving other people. And I'm so grateful that I grew up in a home that instilled those qualities within me, that if you have something, you give it away.
Mhm.
If you have a light within yourself, give it away because someone needs that. And I had just really exhausted every avenue in my hometown of serving. And I also saw this as an opportunity to be around like-minded women that were changing their little world, their community in their own way. And I wanted to make friends. So I was like, this has to be the perfect opportunity for me. And with a lot of prayer, because my faith is very important to me, I took that leap of faith and I said, you know what? I'm just going to have fun, be myself, see what happens. And I'm destined to meet some friends out of all of this.
Sure.
And if that's the last thing that I get and the only thing that I get from being in this,
Still a win.
Still a win. And I'll tell you, my first prelim, I met my absolute best friend, and she will be in my wedding one day. We'll be in rocking chairs together. Love her. And she's from East Tennessee. And I never would have met her if it was not for this organization.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's awesome. That's true.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you said something when we were talking before. You said that you were not a pageant patty was the term that you used. I've never heard that term, but I liked it so much that I jotted it down. So congratulations, I guess, on not being a pageant patty. Not that there's necessarily anything wrong with that.
No, there's not.
Just a different path, right?
Yeah. And when I say pageant patty, I don't mean it in a negative way. Honestly, it's kind of like a riff back to all the people that have such misconceptions about just this organization or just scholarship organizations, altogether.
Well, in these types of competitions,
yeah,
which you made it a point to say it is not just a beauty pageant; it is a competition. And I think that's one of the things. One of the things you said is that you wanted to kind of break the stigma of just a beauty queen type, situation. Yeah. And I think it would do well. One of my favorite things to do is to dispel myths. We talk about Habitat for Humanity quite often. There's a lot of misconceptions about that organization. I think there's probably a lot of misconceptions about this organization as well.
A lot.
So, hey, the floor is yours. Dispel some myths.
Oh, well, thank you. I will say, I feel like that is a big part of this job as Miss Tennessee, and even as a local title holder, because we start at the local level. You have to, be awarded a local title. Basically, you serve a local community before you have the opportunity to compete to become Miss State.
So what was your local title?
So this year, my local title was Miss Lexington. So in the past 5 years, including COVID, I've served 4 communities. Lexington actually twice. So yes, I went to Miss Tennessee as Miss Lexington, which is about 20 minutes from my hometown. I consider it a hometown too. So it was really cool to end this journey because this was my last year of eligibility.
Oh, wow.
So actually last year was my last year of eligibility within the organization. And because of COVID and because there's a lot of women that are still in their late 20s pursuing their college education, they increased the age eligibility. And I'll just be honest, I was not going to do it again because I had poured so much time and effort into this. And after it was over and it didn't happen for me last year, I was closing the book to a beautiful journey because it's not just about the state competition or that week that we're there. It really is the journey, as cheesy as that sounds. It's the people that you get to meet on the local level and the relationships that you build. Oh my goodness, like my life would be completely different if I had not been a part of this organization. So, I was ready to continue with my life. I have an amazing career and just ready to build that and ready to start the different phases in my life that a 26-year-old woman would be starting. And then they increased the age and a lot of prayer went into it. And I said, I just don't feel like it's over for me. And I'm so glad that I didn't because then this happened and I'm serving as Miss Tennessee, which is just so cool. So cool. But all my dreams came true in this aspect.
So far.
So far.
So far.
So far. Yes.
Yep. Now you said Miss America is not officially announced as far as when the
Right.
competition is, but it's relatively soon.
It is soon. Yes.
It will happen this year.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. And I'm
Okay.
not saying that as if I do know the secret. I do not know. We don't know when it will be. It will happen before June of next year.
There you go. So, okay.
Yes.
So kind of the fiscal year, if you will,
Right.
before June of next year.
Yes. Because I have
Got
a
it.
year from this past June as a year of service, and it is a year of service, and it will be sometime within that year.
Gotcha. Because this morning you were working at your real job.
Yeah.
And then today, now you're sitting in Murfreesboro.
I know.
So you're a financial advisor?
I am with Modern Woodman. It's a company that's been around for over 100 years, and they're a fraternal organization. So it's really cool how life just takes you on all these different twists and turns, and eventually you end up where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And this company is right where I'm supposed to be, and I can't wait to give it all the time and energy and love, aside from being Miss Tennessee, because it is such a blessing, and it's blessing other people, and it's pouring in to so many communities. We're a fraternal organization, which basically means that we give a lot to our communities.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a make an impact portion of our company, and it is dedicated to allocating funds to go into communities, whether that be for matching funds, for service projects. We just pour money into the community while also helping families
build their own wealth.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
awesome.
And just, instilling that financial literacy within them, and educating people. So.
And you're also working on your MBA right now?
So I'm actually not currently, not as Miss Tennessee. I was thinking, well, do I pursue school or do I continue to hold a job? Because I am 26. And since Miss America did increase that, I'm no longer on my parents' insurance.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. So I'm a big girl. So I'm so blessed to have a company that's been so flexible with me with this, because they know it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, this is it. This is
it. Yeah.
I think it was the great philosopher Eminem that said, you only get one shot.
Yeah. And you got to take it. Absolutely. So I have taken this shot, and it's been wonderful so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Alexander Hamilton said, not throwing away your shot. I mean, we got all kinds of stuff going on here.
Yes, we do.
It's fantastic. Okay. Let me, my notes are all over the place. So let's see. One of the things that we talked a lot about is on this show, we like to talk about topics that impact the community, but also can get a little uncomfortable sometimes. And one of the things that you're charged with in the pageant is that you have to have, you called it, I wrote this down, social impact initiative.
Yes.
So basically it is a social issue that you get fired up about.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be a specific nonprofit. It may be a specific mission of multiple nonprofits. It may just be an issue that we're facing. Is that accurate?
Exactly.
And yours is?
Food insecurity.
Okay.
Yes.
My good friend Taylor Loyal was with Second Harvest Food Bank for a long time. He has since left that organization for a private sector position. But the first time I ever heard the term food insecurity, it was from him. And my goodness, I don't think people really realize what that actually means in our community. Sure. Typically people go, that's the homeless dude on the corner. But it is way bigger of an issue than that, isn't it?
It is. It is a huge issue. And there are a lot of myths and misconceptions that come with food insecurity. And it has been my mission for the last 5 years to educate myself even more on what food insecurity is, what it looks like. And the truth is, it looks like all of us.
Mm-hmm.
There's no picture of being food insecure. It can affect anyone and everyone. I was listening to something not too long ago, and the title was The Rich Being Food Insecure. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. This is going to challenge my thoughts on this for sure. But then they started talking about an older man who has lived a life and built his wealth, who recently lost his wife, who is grieving, who does not want to go to the grocery store and pick up food. And he's considered food insecure because he does not have a consistent access of nutrient dense food.
Mhm.
He may be able to afford it, but he doesn't have that access, whether that be because of his mental health, whether that be because of his physical health, a plethora of reasons.
Sure.
And that's just one example of someone that is food insecure that may not even realize that they are.
Well, and one of the things that has been pointed out to me before, we're so quick to judge things
Mhm.
on outward appearance, and they used to do these. They called them, was it mobile pantry? Is that what it's called, Trent? And essentially it was a drive-through, and you would leave with one or two big boxes
Mhm.
of like fresh vegetables and all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff, right? And so many people would watch the cars that would come through, and they'd be like, "Oh, they're driving a Mercedes,
Yep.
really?"
Yep.
And it's that kind of stuff. Or they're driving a whatever, or they've got a whatever on their wrist, or
Yep.
and man, the reality is that so many people are one unfortunate circumstance away from going, how am I going to eat?
Yes.
And it could be the loss of a job. It could be the loss of a spouse, like you were talking about. It could be somebody's in the hospital. It could be
having to choose between do I pick up my medication for one of my 3 children that's going to save his life versus do I go to the grocery store and spend that money on food for my children?
Or I just got a
eat?
diagnosis for fill in the blank, and my insurance for whatever reason doesn't cover it.
Yes.
Or I don't have insurance.
Right.
Or there's a bazillions of things that might impact that, and we just don't know. You don't know what's going on inside the person inside that car.
No, you don't. And a lot of people who are food insecure, they do not ask for help because it can be embarrassing.
Sure.
Going to a food distribution can be so embarrassing. It takes a lot of courage to go. And I do want to talk about an instance, and this was kind of the beginning of my social impact initiative, which the formal name is Heart for the Hungry, Overcoming Food Insecurity. And I was at my local church. We have a huge food distribution. And I noticed that there was such a disconnect. Everyone was focused on logistics. How do we, roll these boxes out as fast as possible?
You put this in here and
yeah, the most efficient way. And I think all that's very important. I mean, you have to have a well-oiled machine for sure.
Sure.
But then we would just pop them in the car. Have a good day. God bless you.
Next.
I'm like, wait a second. One, that's not how we're called to love. Yes, we are doing the Lord's work, but are we? Are we just feeding their bellies when we should be feeding their hearts as well? And so I put together a hospitality team. And what we would do is while everyone's, in there packing the boxes and doing that Lord's work, we were out and we're like, okay, we want to talk to these people. Of course, invite them to church. But if anything, just give them a familiar face so they feel more comfortable coming here, knowing that they're not judged by at least one person that they met within that hospitality team.
Mm-hmm.
And
validate their humanity.
Right. And just say, honestly, I've never been in a position where I'm food insecure. I'm not going to say that I never will. I hope that I never will, because I hope I have the tools and the skill set to know and to build myself and my life in a way to where I'm not. But I also know that I'm not completely exempt to just life, because it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can just meet these people and love on them a little bit, let them know my name and humanize this experience, then maybe they will come back with a different attitude or just make their day.
Yeah. And I've heard this from multiple sources. Another friend of mine, LaDonna Parham and Norman Hanks, they work with Nourish Food Bank, another food bank here in Rutherford County. And I heard this multiple times from multiple people, finding out the story, right? And sometimes people that are needy, they really just need some attention.
Yeah.
and they need to just be validated.
Yeah.
Right. And, when you interact, when we go all the way to the extreme and we have the homeless guy that hadn't eaten in 4 days or whatever, they need to be fed. Right. For sure. But they also need to be heard,
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, kind of be loved on and be treated like a person.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, what do we all want? We want to be seen. We want to be loved. We want to be heard. We want to be known.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the only thing that I personally can give somebody in a situation like that, then I feel like I would be fulfilled in a way.
Sure.
If I gave everything that I could give, even the shirt off my back. But at the end of the day, if that's the only thing that I could give, I feel like that would make a difference. And so during this very first hospitality team experience with these people, these sweet people, one of the first cars that I encountered, she was a grandmother who had recently taken in her granddaughter's son. And so
I had to bounce for a second.
Yeah,
I got you.
I guess there's a better way of saying that. So her great grandson, and he was in the back and he was bouncing up and down. He was so excited because someone had came to talk to them.
Wow.
And he's just chattering in the back, and I could not understand him. He was 3 or 4. And finally, the grandmother said, James really wants to talk to you. And so she rolls down the window, and he was so excited to tell me it was his birthday.
Oh.
And my heart just broke into a million pieces. But also, I was very excited because I was like, we're celebrating your birthday today. And because of this, and I don't say this to glorify myself at all, but just the fact of to encourage people to humanize the experience if they are volunteering at something similar, because I was able to talk to them, because I was able to give him that attention, I walkie-talkied into where everybody was at, and I said, hey, we have a huge bakery side of things, and it's very random. It'll be a box of cookies, a couple of cupcakes. And I remembered there was a beautiful Spider-Man birthday cake.
No way.
I swear. It gives me goosies just telling the story. And I've told it so many times. But I said, hey, it's the 4th car from the back. I described the car, and I said, it's his birthday
Somebody go
today.
Get some candles.
Yes, I wish we would have had them. But they put it on top of the food box. And when it was, put in the back seat, that little boy's face.
Oh, he lost it, didn't he?
Oh, my
Awesome.
my goodness. And the grandmother, of course, lost it as well. But it's just the little things. You made someone's day just by something so small.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that.
It's good stuff.
Happy birthday, James.
Yes, happy
wherever
birthday.
you are.
Over and over again.
Yeah, happy birthday, buddy. And I like Spider-Man too.
Absolutely.
All right. So some of the myths, some of the stigma.
Mm-hmm.
All right. True or false? Your answers when you get interviewed are scripted.
No, for me, that is false.
And you get prompted before the interview.
No way.
No way.
I didn't even get prompted on this interview. You're writing down things over there, and I don't even know.
That's a fact, by the way.
Yes, it is.
There's a couple of things, but only so I could learn to ask better questions.
Right. No, sometimes I wish it was that way, but no, it's totally candid. You have no idea.
So what would you, we'll use a little controversial word. What would you tell the haters? What would you tell them that are like, oh, whatever, just a pretty face, that kind of thing?
Well, I would tell them my story of why I started. I feel like sharing our story, no matter what it is, under the sun about anything, is so powerful. And for me, it was, I wanted to serve. I wanted to meet like-minded women, and I earned some scholarship money while doing so.
There you go.
I'm like, we can talk. We have to have a private interview with judges. No one ever sees that.
Mm-hmm.
And it can get very intense. It can be very heavy. They ask a lot of hard questions and a lot of soul-searching questions. Mm-hmm. And you have to do your homework before you step in there. You have to know who you are, because I will tell you, it is so easy for people to tell you who you are in this particular realm of things. But I think just in life, and the older I get, the more I'm learning that people will tell you who you are, especially if they sense any type of insecurity about who you are. They're very quick to tell you.
Or if they see something they can get out of you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the competition has talent. You have to be talented, and that can range from anything. A Miss America a few years ago performed a science experiment, elephant toothpaste. Super cool. I can't do that. That was awesome. I've been singing since I was a little girl, so mine is vocal. You name it, people do it as a talent. And it takes a lot of courage just to get on the stage.
I'm out on that. I have no talent.
Whatever. You can get up there and talk.
And I have definitely passed the age, for sure. So really level with me here.
Yeah.
Okay. What difference can a competition like Miss America, Miss Tennessee, what difference in our society, in our culture, really can it make? Let me be, see, this is my cynical face. Okay.
Yes. So it depends on which way we want to go with this. But the way I'm going to answer this is it empowers women. It empowers young women. It empowered me when I was a little girl watching. And I may have thought it was just surface level, outer beauty, but there was still something about them that I was drawn to. And it was their light. It was their passion for whatever they were passionate about. They were just so confident. So it empowered me as a young girl. And then fast forward to 21, I was empowered to step into the organization. And now on the flip side of things, being in a position of Miss Tennessee where I'm competing at Miss America, so crazy. Can't wrap my mind around it. It empowered me. And I know that it's empowering so many young girls to find their voice, to find what matters to them, what they're passionate about. I'm passionate about a lot of things, but because I honed in on food insecurity, I've been able to learn so much about it and hopefully help a lot of people, whether that be humanizing a distribution experience or whether that be raising money for Second Harvest, whether that be allocating funds during COVID for an emergency relief food warehouse in a local community. People said, hey, we have this money. We want to help hungry people. We don't know what to do. Lauren, can you help us? And so by the people that I've met, by honing in on my passion, by educating myself, I was able to do these things. And so I can, of course, only speak on my own experience, but I know that there's so many young women out there that have similar experiences.
Well, and I would say that you become a rally point, so to speak, right? How do we get this done? Well, let's get somebody behind it. Let's get somebody behind it that has a voice, has a platform, and has a passion for this, right? And all of a sudden, stuff gets done simply because we've got Miss Tennessee behind it.
I know, isn't that really crazy?
It is.
It is so crazy, but it does. This organization gives you a platform, even on a local level. I worked so hard. There's so many women that work very hard at the local level just to make a difference in a small community, because really small waves make some big ones. And if you have, we had 36 young women competing at Miss Tennessee this past summer. So if you have 36 women across Tennessee making little ripples in their community, there's going to be some waves. And think of that across America,
right?
Like we're moving, we're here. We want to be known. We want a seat at the table, and we're getting it just by speaking up and being ourselves and empowering other people by telling our story.
I love that. All right. What is the most annoying question that you get on a regular basis as Miss Tennessee?
Oh, me.
It can be rooted in misinformation. It can be rooted in ignorance. It can be whatever. Take it however you want to take it. Most annoying thing I could ask you.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's not a question. I guess it could be. So how much money are you getting being Miss Tennessee? So you're rich because you're Miss Tennessee.
I mean, look at all the bling.
All the bling. Oh, honey, not at all. It is truly a year of service. It is. I get my mileage paid for. That's about it. But it's not about getting rich. Honestly, as cheesy as it sounds, I'm being rewarded just by getting to meet people like you. That's giving me an opportunity to speak on what I'm passionate about. Just the platform that this gives you on a state level, that's making me pretty rich. Let me just tell you, in a lot of different ways. And I know it's fulfilling my heart. It's going to make a really big impact on my life, even if I can't see it right now, because sometimes I feel like I'm just going day to day and not being able to process like, wow, today was a great day. And then I'll go to sleep because it's the next day is full of events
Right.
as well, so I can't wait to look back on the year when it's finished, and I'm not trying to rush it, and just see all the goodness and all the lessons that I've learned about myself in it.
Yeah. Are you keeping a journal?
I'm trying.
That's hard, isn't it?
Man, it's hard. It's really hard. Yeah, it's really hard, but I'm trying.
All right, we're going to shift gears one more time.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, 2 more times, but one more first.
Okay.
You're a financial advisor.
Yes.
You are well educated. You're working on it. When you get back to it, you're going to be extending that even more.
Yes.
You're involved in the business. Tell me about the market right now. All right, do we have a recession coming? Are we on the precipice right now? What's going on?
We may be, but who really knows? I wish we all had a crystal ball and knew what the next Apple was going to be, or what to just dip in and like put all your money in. It's going to make you lots of money one day. I wish we knew. A lot of the signs are pointing towards that, though, a recession. But we're going to be fine. We're going to be just fine.
That's it. Inflation's a little crazy right now.
It is.
Is y'all's housing market out there as crazy as it is here?
It is. It definitely is. Yes.
Did
Things are ridiculous.
The volatility this year, I mean, rates went bananas and the market did what it did. And
yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. We have people all the time that are calling in and, freaking out a little bit, but we just say, hold off. Don't look at your statements. Don't look at your money right now if you don't need it in the next year or 2 or 3. Just don't look at it.
How do you do that? How do you, specifically you, there's so much conjecture and misinformation out there about this is going to happen and this is a sign of this and this is going to, don't do this because this is going to happen. Oh, no, you should do this because that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's just chatter and noise all the time.
Yeah.
What do you do with that in your career, in your actual job there?
Honestly, I dump it because it's a lot of negativity and half of it is not backed by any factual information. So, I have my people in my office. We have our people that we go to for our information. We have resources that we go to, and we put a lot of faith in them. But ultimately, we put a lot of faith in the Lord because he's going to see us through. And like I said, my faith is so important to me. But, I think if you're just being smart, even with everyday decisions, you're saving your money, you're going to be okay. Just don't act irrational, yes, it's so much noise. It is so much noise
all the time. And it's getting louder and louder and louder.
Yeah. But that's just like the culture these days, there's just so much fear in the media. They're doing so good at it, just instilling a lot of fear and anxiety. And honestly, I don't know about you, but I have enough anxiety on my own and going on in my own brain. I don't need any outside factors playing into that whatsoever.
True story.
Yes.
Absolutely true story. All right, last question I got for you, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
You got to pick one. Okay.
Me. Okay.
Would you rather see the future or change the past?
Ooh.
I didn't prep her for this one, just so you know.
No, you didn't. I want to say see the future. But then now I'm overthinking it because I've taken too long. I'm like, yeah, I want to see the future, but then am I going to have anxiety of what's to come in my life? Or am I going to prepare better, prepare myself even more for the future? But I'm just not one to regret things and to go back and think about the past and what I would change, what I would not change. So I cannot choose that one. So it has to be seeing the future. It just has to be.
There you go. All right. Played it out. That was great.
Yeah.
The whole thought process.
Yeah.
There.
That is my thought process with a lot of things, and it may be excessive, but I'd rather do that than to just, fly off the cuff and
I like
pick
surprises.
something.
I think I'd rather change the past.
Really?
Yeah, I think I would be a good armchair quarterback of my life.
Ooh.
Like look back at it and go, nope, that was not the right way to do it. Let me change it.
But wouldn't you be afraid that your life wouldn't turn out the way that it is now?
I mean, if you get into the Marvel movies, dude, there'd be like 25,000 different universes that were Jonathan Harmon. And that's terrifying is what that is.
Oh, yeah.
All the
definitely.
timelines going on at one time.
Me. No way. I can only handle one Lauren Dickson at a time, believe me. So
Trent, what about you?
I'm a future.
You're a see the future kind of guy?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of like some of those apples or
Yeah,
that's
a good point.
Yes,
But see, I can look back and go, I'm going back to buy Yahoo or whatever.
Right.
You know,
that is true.
What was the
some Dollar General? That's what
hot
that's
tub time
what
machine?
a lot of
Is that what
people
you're
missed out.
yeah.
They called it Lugal instead of Google.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Classic.
Oh man. All right, Lauren. We got like 2 minutes. So what do you want to leave us with?
Well, I would encourage anyone listening to find their passion, to get involved, to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. If you've never worked at a food bank or a food distribution, just go, because I feel like a lot of the perceptions that you may have about hungry people or food insecure people, they're going to be debunked when you look into the eyes of these people that need assistance. And it's easy to judge because we're human. But I think if you look at one another with the compassion that you would want someone to look at you, maybe in your darkest time, then you will be forever changed in that moment. And maybe it's not food insecurity, and that's okay. But get out of your comfort zone and just see. Just see what your passion is and what you can advocate for.
That's awesome. I love it. Lauren Dickson, Miss Tennessee.
Yes.
You had your finger over the button. There we go.
Thank
All right.
Thank you so much for having me.
So be watching. Miss America is coming soon.
Yes.
They're going to announce it
soon.
Soon. And we'll be pulling for you.
Thank you so much.
It's going to be awesome.
Yes, and all the good vibes. I need all the help I can get.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, J Harmon Home Team is definitely a fan.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Whatever you need. Spread the positive as well. We'll just throw Cedar Glade brews in as well.
Glades,
that's it. So, okay. Thank you guys for watching. You guys have a wonderful rest of the week, and we'll see you again real soon. Thanks.